All right, okay. I have a cool little chat ready here today. We're going to talk about how we are preventing death by Google yet again. This time with the help of open source and Linky here at Chainguard. And our expert here today is Priya, and she's going to tell us all about it. We're going to talk about Kaniko. So what's happening
Awesome.
with Kaniko? Kaniko seems to have disappeared. So 2 days ago, it was archived and it's no longer developed. And that is kind of a shame. And Priya knows all about it because she has been involved with this from the start, it turns out. So tell us more. What is this thing, Candy Code, Priya?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Manfred. So Kaniko is basically a tool that allows you to build images from a Docker file within a Kubernetes cluster. And the reason that I think the thing that is very special about it is that it's able to build those images in an unprivileged pod. So if you were to try to build your Docker file images from a Docker file with Docker in Kubernetes, you would need to give that pod privileged access, which you might not want to do for security reasons in a production environment. So Kaniko was really developed to kind of get around that privilege requirement and allow people to still build images from their Docker files, but in a more secure way.
So right in Kubernetes where you don't actually need Docker at all. You have your containers and they run in Kubernetes. So do people build a lot of those? Like is a lot of people that use that, need that?
I think it's become a really popular project, which I didn't really expect when I first started building it, but it's been really cool to see that I think it's been incorporated into production systems, CI/CD systems, because it turns out that being able to build an image, it works. It was initially developed for Kubernetes, but really runs in kind of any cloud native environment, anywhere that you would run a container. And I think that has made it easy to integrate into like cloud native CI/CD systems. So you can really build your images from a Docker file in many different ways.
Yeah, with everything running in the cloud in Kubernetes, it's important to run the builds there too, right? So that totally
Mhm.
makes sense. So now that the project is sort of like no longer there or slash archived slash read only, what can we do about that?
Yeah, so I started working on the project like 5 or 6 years ago at Google. I worked. It was the first time I had worked for Dan, and he really came up with the idea behind Kaniko because there was a lot of kind of demand for a tool like this or something that could solve that problem of building images without privilege in a pod. So he came up with the idea, and then I wrote the code, and for a long time I maintained it while I worked at Google. But working at a big company, kind of, I ended up switching teams and ownership was sort of moved around for a while. And then I think it kind of got to a point where there was really nobody in charge of it anymore. And PR stopped being merged, bugs stopped being fixed, which is understandable. Like it kind of happens at big companies. But 2 days ago, like you said, the project was officially deprecated or archived, I guess, which means that they won't be taking in any more updates or updating dependencies or patching security vulnerabilities, which is actually a really big problem because the project is much more widely used. It's very widely used in production systems. And so it's important to, at the very minimum, keep dependency upgrades going and kind of address security issues that come up. So that's why we decided to fork it and just do that work ourselves.
Yeah, so that's typical chain gut mode, right? Like we don't just talk about security, we make it happen, and that's really awesome. So, is it going to be you that's going to be working on that, or do we have a whole bunch of engineers that know enough about this to help, right?
I'm definitely going to be helping out. And this project is very near and dear to my heart. It was the first real project that I worked on in my career. So I'm definitely going to be in there. And hopefully other engineers too, because I think that's one of the fun things about open source is working with people.
Yeah, no, that's exciting, and obviously I enjoy that as well. It's also good news, obviously, for our customers and anyone else that uses Kaniko. Our customers get support, and anyone else that wants to potentially help out with a little bit here and there, that's also good. But it is a project that has been in maintenance mode. It kind of does what it does and does it well. So um, we don't expect there to be too much to be happening, but it is important to stay up to date and have it keep it secure. So thank you so much for our chat, Priya. I'm looking forward to that, and who knows, there might be one who's coming next.
Awesome. Thanks, Manfred.